Over the weekend, the red carpet was rolled out in Rosemont as season number 3 in Athletes Unlimited softball saw a barrage of home runs, strikeouts, and defensive gems by some of the best athletes in the world. The question now, as we continue into week number 2, who's going to be number 1? And after what we saw in week 1, one can only imagine what's in store for week number 2. The captains are getting themselves ready, pumped, psyched, and fired up, ready to make their selections in just moments. We are going to meet all 4 captains as they get ready for this draft week 2 special. And with that, we welcome you inside our studios. I'm your host, John Brickley. Thanks for joining us here tonight on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe and also share with all of your friends. A special thank you, as always, to our Unlimited Club members. We are always thankful for your support. Later on in the broadcast tonight, we'll explain how you can become an Unlimited member. All right, so this is how the draft works as we go into week number 2. 15 players on each team. Captains represent the first pick for their team, so each captain is going to select 14 players to form their roster. The draft order will snake, starting with purple. Every captain will get 2 minutes per pick, and they do have to pick players in a certain category because when players come into Athletes Unlimited, they have a designated position. The captains must end up with a team that includes 4 pitchers, 2 catchers, 3 middle infielders, 3 corner infielders, and 3 outfielders. They can play those players in any position they want once they have them, but they must draft them in those categories. So each captain is assigned a certain color. Gold is the top point getter right now on the leaderboard, and that'll be followed by orange, blue, and purple. So these 4 right now are the top point getters from week number 1. 1 through 3 is separated by 20 points. So it is a tight race. So with that being said, let us introduce you to the captains. First up, she was instrumental in Team Eberly's 1-0 shutout win over Team Ocasio, driving in the only run with an RBI single, making defensive plays like that, why not? She totaled 366 leaderboard points, 66 stat points, a bronze medal for Team Canada in the 2020 Tokyo Games. Repping the purple this week, the team captain for Team Harshman. There she is, number 33, Kelsey Harshman. And her facilitator this week is going to be Ellie Cooper. All right, up next, this individual has compiled 432 leaderboard points, 20 back of first, 220 win points, and oh yeah, that 2-run home run she had yesterday still hasn't landed. A silver medalist for Team USA in the 2020 Olympics, hitting bombs like that, going 322 feet out of Arizona, wearing blue this week. The captain for Team Molypola, number 15, Deja Molypola. And the facilitator this week will be Jen Solly. This player is back in the captain's chair after a nice run there in 2021. Her performance Sunday earned this individual MVP 1 honors, and rightfully so. 3 extra base hits, including 2 home runs, and the first triple this season in Athletes Unlimited. 5 RBIs and a league record 11 total bases. An LSU Tiger for life, wearing orange this week, the captain for Team Jaquish. There she is, number 27, Savannah Jaquish. Facilitator this week is going to be Charlotte Morgan. And lastly, the top point getter in week 1, the reigning rookie of the year in Athletes Unlimited and the lone returning captain. She totaled 452 leaderboard points, including 140 inning points and 100 MVP points, getting to wear gold this week. The captain for Team Eberly, say hello to number 44, Kerry Eberly. And the facilitator this week is going to be Tatum Edwards, whose sister Taylor is one of the 60 players who will hear their name coming up tonight. And here is the schedule for week number 2. Games on Friday start off on ESPNU. Saturday, both available on ESPN Plus and on ESPN2. And Sunday's action wrapping up on ESPN Plus. So here's how the scoring system works. Players in Athletes Unlimited earn points in a variety of ways. Win points are all about the team performance. Players accumulate points individually through their stats and MVP votes, and with their teammates for overall inning and game wins. Each inning is worth 10 points. Overall games are 50. All right, so here we go. Week 2 draft special underway, and Kelsey Harshman has the first pick.
Okay. I can go. We good? We good, Ellie? Okay. I am going to select pitcher Rachel Garcia.
Rachel Garcia for the second straight week going #1 overall. Now you'll notice as well, we'll show you the board of all the players that are going to be able to be selected here tonight. Rachel Garcia is one of 3 players who are, quote, out of market players. So that means they're going to miss a game or some practice, may not be available all weekend long. That's the case for Rachel Garcia, the former UCLA star, taken #1 overall. Just a little background on her. Last year, finished second in leader points. And as we see, the draft room, as the player gets announced, will be joining their respective draft room. So Rachel Garcia joining in with Team Harshman as we #1 overall draft pick. Deja, ready to go with her first selection.
Pitcher Danielle O'toole.
All right, so the first 2 picks are in, and the first 2 picks are pitchers. Rachel Garcia going #1, and now Danielle O'toole, the lefty, in the pitching circle. So catcher and pitcher, that relationship's so key, not only in softball but in baseball. But another Arizona star off the board, this time Danielle O'toole, the pitcher going to Team Molypola. And so we see as the draft picks come in, we'll show you on the big board here in week #2. And as we say that, Savannah is ready to go with her first selection of the night.
Middle infielder, Hannah Flippen.
So after back-to-back pitchers taken in the first 2 selections, we have our first middle infielder taken, this time by Team Jaquish. So Hannah Flippen is off the board. And the third pick is in. Note Flippen right now 358 points, which is 6th in the league, a 600 batting average after week #1. So 2 pitchers and a middle infielder taken with the first 3 picks here in round #1 of this week 2 draft special. Kerry Eberly, a captain once again, ready for her first pick of the night.
Middle infielder, Anissa Ortez.
Anissa Ortez, another middle infielder, is off the board. Ortez, who has a standout career. Last year, nearly 1,400 leaderboard points, was part of Team Mexico for the 2020 Olympics and the reigning Geico Defensive Player of the Year. And there is Anissa. She is pumped up, ready to go, joining Team Eberly, their draft room. The facilitator, captain, and the players drafted in their respective teams will join in on the Zoom call. So here is how round #1 has gone. Garcia, O'Toole, Flippen, and Ortez rounding out this first round. And as we mentioned with the snake draft, Team Eberly is going to be selecting first to begin round #2. Each captain has 2 minutes per pick. They've got to pick a certain amount of players in certain positions to fulfill their requirements. So it'll be the captain along with the 14 picks to complete their roster. And as we await to see where Team Eberly will go with their first pick here in round #2, here are the players that are available. Again, 4 pitchers, 3 outfielders, 2 catchers, 3 corner infielders, and 3 middle infielders. Those are the requirements to fulfill in Athletes Unlimited. As Season 3, Week 2 draft special continuing here on YouTube. Round #2 as we await Team Eberly in this snake draft. They picked last. In round #1, they'll get to pick first in round #2. A lot of great talent still on the board. Morgan Zirkle, a name that comes to mind. She had a huge first week as a team captain, representing the purple last week. She's hoping to hear her name as well. Mia Davidson, one of the play catchers. And as we get set to go, round #2, Team Eberly, who you got?
Middle infielder, Sierra Romero.
All right, so Sierra Romero is off the board. One of the Romero sisters taken to begin round number 2. A standout in her time at Michigan, with her cause being the Trevor Project. She had an unbelievable AUX season, 11 for 12 at the plate, 409 batting average with 18 hits. Had the first home run in AUX history. Her sister Sydney will be hearing her name, no doubt, coming up throughout this draft special tonight. And as we continue, Savannah, you are ready to go with your pick.
Pitcher, Alicia Ocasio.
The defending champion from a year ago, last week's captain for gold, Alicia Ocasio. The first pitcher taken for Team Jaquish. What a tandem that is going to be, Ocasio and Jaquish, along with Hannah Flippen, middle infielder. And you see the numbers that Ocasio put up. A 1.40 ERA in 10 innings, giving up 11 hits while striking out 10. And there is some happy people in that draft room. Ocasio, a national champion in her time at Florida, joining in on the draft room for Team Jaquish. We've seen 3 pitchers so far come off the board. The first pick overall, Rachel Garcia. And just now, the defending champion in Ocasio is off the board. So here's the roster as we continue through round number 2. Sierra Romero and Alicia Ocasio, the first 2 picks taken here in round number 2. Team Molypola ready to go with her pick in round 2.
Center fielder, Haley McCunny. Sorry, Halo.
So outfielder is the way that Team Molypola goes to begin her second round. Mcquillen, who's batting .300 on the season. Mcquillen, also a very standout athlete in her own right. Finished in 12th place on the leaderboard standings with just over 1,400 last year. Was a member of the inaugural Athletes Unlimited softball all-defensive team. And so she joins in on the draft room. As the draft continues, you're going to see those draft rooms continue to build up with all the players that hear their names selected going into their respective draft rooms, along with the team captain and the facilitator. That makes up the draft and which direction these players want to go, kind of formulating their draft throughout this draft special here in week number 2. And fans, don't miss your chance as well for time to earn points for tuning into tonight's draft. Here's the code. You can enter that code under Fan Codes in the Athletes Unlimited app. And you can earn all the points. Download that app today for free at your app store. Get access to great AU content and experiences all season long. As a member of the Unlimited Club, you get special access to the players, to the teams. It's really an app you must have as a fan of Athletes Unlimited. Just unbelievable access that you get with these players and with their teams as well. So here is what round number 2 looks like. Sierra Romero, Alicia Ocasio, and Haley McClenny. The first 3 picks as we wait for Team Harshman, who went with Rachel Garcia with her first pick. And Kelsey, you are ready to go to make the final pick of round 2.
I am ready. Middle infielder, Sydney Romero.
And so Sydney Romero, the other half of the Romero sisters, is off the board. So both Romero sisters taken here in round number 2. Her 260 points, ranking 21st in the league. Got off to a little bit of a slow start, 273 batting average, just with a couple of runs batted in. If you may recall, Sydney was a member of the 2020 Olympics for Team Mexico. As Sydney joins in, the all-time leader in at-bats at Oklahoma. Her brother Mikey, of course, going to be donning, hopefully, the Red Sox uniform soon enough. Believe me, Boston could use them. But there it is. The round 2 selections have been made. Sierra Romero, her sister Sydney, starting 1 and 4 to wrap up round number 2. So some of the top talent in a variety of positions have been taken off the board. Again, captain's going to end up with a team that includes 4 pitchers, 2 catchers, 3 middle infielders, 3 corner infielders, and 3 outfielders. So 2 rounds are in the books as this snake draft continues. Team Harshman, who selected in the final pick of round number 2 with Sydney Romero, is going to start off round number 3. And as we wait to hear where Kelsey's going to go with round number 3, again, you take a look at all the players, and Kelsey is ready to go. Kelsey, who you got in round 3?
I'm going to take pitcher Taylor Mcquillen.
So another pitcher is where Team Harshman wants to go, beginning round number 3. After selecting Rachel Garcia with the first overall pick, Taylor Mcquillen is off the board, 256 in terms of points. Her ERA not where she wants it to be, close to 7, but 11 strikeouts and allowing just 2 walks thus far in the first week. She is off the board. So 2 of the first 3 players selected by Team Harshman going by way of pitcher, along with Sydney Romero. So that means that in terms of middle infielders, Team Harshman's only able to draft 1 more. 2 more pitchers is who they want to go with. And as we wait and continue throughout this draft, here is who is available by category: pitchers, catchers. We've got a number of corner infielders still on the board. We've seen, obviously, the middle infielders have gone quickly thus far, but a lot of talent still left on the board in a number of positions. We'll have to see what direction right now these teams want to go with, including Team Molypola with their pick coming up next in round number 3 of this draft. Again, one captain has to select 14 players to round out the 15-player roster, and this is what we're playing for in Rosemont, Illinois. Week number 2, the schedule has been released. Friday's games available on ESPNU starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And Saturday and Sunday you can catch on ESPN2 and on ESPN+. Deja, round number 3, who is your selection?
Corner infielder Amanda Chidester.
So last week's captain, Amanda Chidester, who's been a home run threat so far through the first week with 2 home runs, she is off the board. And so after a pitcher and an outfielder was taken, Amanda Chidester, who was a captain last week, is off the board. And look at the power by Chidester going opposite way. One of 2 home runs she had in Rosemont, a little shimmy as well, making it to home plate. Great environment, great player personalities, and Amanda certainly has one of the best. She was a team captain last week. Her experience, her veteranship is going to be huge the rest of the way here for Team Molypola as the draft continues. And Team Jaquish, I should say, ready to go with her selection.
Outfielder Bubba Nichols.
Outfielder Bubba Nichols is taken by Team Jaquish here in round number 3. So after a middle infielder and Hannah Flippin and Alicia Ocasio, the defending champion, are off the board. Bubba Nichols, who put up some impressive numbers last week. And here's some video of those home runs. And man, she had some power going her way. Just a moonshot over the fence there in Rosemont, Illinois. Pumped up, helping the cause for Orange. And Bubba Nichols, who has been a standout player in her tenure with Athletes Unlimited, she has joined the draft room. And so far, you have to say, the tip of the cap to Savannah Jaquish. Captain last year, returning to that role here in week number 2. Some star talent in the draft room for Team Jaquish. And Team Eberly ready to go with her pick.
Outfielder Morgan Zirkle.
So Morgan Zirkle officially off the board. A captain last week, this week now joins Team Eberly. So after back-to-back middle infielders taken by Team Eberly, Morgan Zirkle, look at the impressive numbers that she was able to orchestrate in week 1. A .714 batting average along with a home run and 5 RBIs. And having been a captain last week, along with Kerry Eberly, she is now teammates with Kerry this week. And let's take a look, as we mentioned, the power numbers by Morgan Zirkle. Here's a look at the top 4 hitters in terms of average. By far, Morgan Zirkle had the best performance in week number 1. After that, Hannah Flippin, Savannah Jaquish, and Bubba Nichols, all of which who have been selected thus far. 3 of the 4 are teammates this week. That's a lot of power, a lot of home runs on the board there, and a lot of runs driven in as well. All right, so we continue through the draft. Again, this is a snake draft. So Team Eberly, who just concluded with a pick, we're going to hear from Team Eberly coming up in just moments as we wait and see which direction Team Eberly wants to go. Here is a look at the rosters at this point thus far. Morgan Zirkle was the last pick in round number 3. Prior to that was Bubba Nichols, Amanda Chidester, and Taylor Mcquillen in this snake draft. And so with that being said, Team Eberly finished round number 3. And so Team Eberly will select number 1 to begin round 4. Back-to-back middle infielders and an outfielder taken with the first 3 selections by Kerry Eberly in her second week as team captain, the only returning captain this week of the 4 here in Athletes Unlimited. This week 2 draft special, and just a reminder, tickets on sale right now. Don't miss your chance to see the excitement of Athletes Unlimited softball in person in Rosemont. Come early, coming up on August 6th for the pregame tailgate hosted by Sarah Spain of ESPN. And Team Eberly ready to go with round 4.
Outfielder Victoria Hayward.
Okay, so another outfielder is off the board. After Morgan Zirkle was selected to end round number 3, Victoria Hayward, with her cause of 336 points, which was top 10 in the league. She has been a cause of a threat at the plate, and Team Eberly is hoping that will be the case coming up this week. Team Jaquish is ready to go with her select, but before that, we'll take a look at the draft room starting to fill up for Team Eberly. A lot of great communication going on with the captain and with the facilitator. Team Jaquish ready to go with her selection in round 4.
Catcher V. Gwen Svekis.
I love the announcing it to the world. Savannah Jaquish picking the second catcher for her team. And Gwen Svekis, 154 points, just a 167 average. I know that she wants to come back and make a statement coming into this week. And there is the draft room for Team Jaquish as Gwen joining in, ready to go. You may recall she ranks among Oregon's career leaders in runs batted in and in home runs. Some more power at the plate. And so the 2 catchers set to go, donning the orange this week for Team Jaquish. So Team Eberly and Team Jaquish have made their selections. Team Molypola is ready to go in just a moment as we're waiting to see where Molypola is going to go with their selection here in round number 4. So as teams select their players taken off the board, we'll continue to update you with the rosters here in the week 2 draft special of season number 3 of Athletes Unlimited. Again, it's a snake draft, so Team Eberly selected number 1. Team Harshman is going to select number 4, and then she'll select number 1 to begin round number 5. But Team Eberly, Kerry Eberly, the reigning Rookie of the Year in Athletes Unlimited, the lone returning captain this week of the 4, but Team Jaquish, led by Savannah Jaquish, who is a returning captain, back in the seat again. She was a captain last year in Athletes Unlimited. Each captain represents 1 pick. After that, they've got 14 more selections to go to represent their team of 15. And Deja ready to go with her pick.
Catcher, Erica Piancastelli.
Okay, so another catcher is off the board here in round number 4. All right, so a big power hitter is coming this way to Team Molypola. Erica, who had some power at the plate last week, and she is joining in on the draft room call. And it's great to see the players, the captain, and the facilitator all working together. There's a lot of great communication going on, whether it be through texting, the Slack channel, DMs. This is the way that these captains discussed with their facilitator and the players they drafted what direction they want to go the rest of the draft to formulate their team. And so as we continue through this draft, as we wait to see what direction Team Harshman wants to go, here is how the draft has presented itself to this point. Again, if you're just joining us and you're seeing that small P next to Rachel Garcia, it's an indication of out-of-market players who are going to miss a game or some practice, may not be available all weekend. Garcia, one of 3 players that fits that category this coming week, but the former UCLA star taken #1 overall for the 2nd straight week. Danielle O'Toole, Hannah Flippin, and Anissa Ortez, the top 4 picks in this week's draft here in season number 3 of Athletes Unlimited. Again, the race between 1 through 3 separated by just 20 points. That is how tight it is right now between Team Eberle, Team Jaquish, Team Molypola. That is how Athletes Unlimited works each and every week. Players are trying to build up leaderboard points, stat points, MVP points to put themselves in a position to be crowned champion like we saw last year with Alicia Ocasio. And ready to wrap up round number 4. Team Harshman ready to go with the final selection.
Yep. We are going to take outfielder Megan Wiggins.
Outfielder Megan Wiggins off the board. Will be wearing purple this week in Rosemont for Team Harshman. And so after going pitcher and middle infielder and another pitcher, Megan Wiggins out of Georgia, with her cause being Path United. What's great to see is each one of these players that comes into Athletes Unlimited plays for a specific cause or charity, and half of their leaderboard bonus is matched and donated to that specific cause. And as we take a sneak peek inside Team Harshman's draft room, the players selected along with the facilitator and the team captain all working together, formulating a plan the rest of the way. And Team Harshman, after their pick in round number 4 to end that round, will begin first in round number 5 as part of this snake draft. And here's who still is available. Plenty of pitchers still on the board for the taking, along with corner infielders. Only 4 catchers remain, and still a handful of outfielders and middle infielders are left on the board. Each captain's got to end up with a team that 4 pitchers, 2 catchers, 3 middle infielders, 3 corner infielders, or I should say middle infielders, and 3 outfielders. So a lot of great talent still on the board in specific positions. And as we wait for Team Harshman, here is how it has broken down thus far. A couple of pitchers in Rachel Garcia and Taylor Mcquillen. And as we begin round 5, Kelsey, who you got?
Catcher Taylor Edwards.
All right, so one of the facilitators is Tatum Edwards. Her sister is off the board. A lot of smiles going around for Team Harshman after that selection. Her first catcher is off the board, Taylor Edwards, who's looking to put up some big points in week number 2 after a slow start, batting just .250 on the season with that 1 RBI. Did total 280 points. And Taylor coming into the draft room for Team Harshman, all smiles, all excitement all the way around. You see Sydney Romero, part of that discussion as well. And Deja is ready to go with her selection.
Rookie pitcher, Peyton St. George.
Rookie pitcher Peyton St. George is going to be wearing blue this week. The second pitcher joining Team Molypola, along with Danielle O'Toole, the lefty. Peyton St. George is off the board out of Virginia. Morgan's message with her cause as she joins in on the draft room. Again, great communication, whether it be through text, DMs, on the Slack channel as well, trying to discuss with the facilitator and captain and the rest of the team which direction they want to go the rest of the way. And by the way, if you want to be an unlimited club member, there is some special access granted to you listening in on these draft rooms throughout the draft specials each and every week throughout the season. So here they are, the 4 captains, as I mentioned, Halfway through round number 5, 1 through 3, that being gold, orange, and blue, are separated by just 20 points. That is how tight it has been thus far after week number 1 here in Athletes Unlimited. And the draft room, as we sneak in to see what Team Jaquish wants to do for her selection coming up in just moments here in round number 5. And I think Savannah is ready to go with her pick.
Pitcher, Sarah Gronewagen.
Okay, so a catcher going with another pitcher after Ocasio, the defending champion, off the board back in round number 2. Gronewagen, who put together 180 points, pitching 5 innings of work, striking out 3, not allowing a single walk. Excited to be in the draft room, donning the orange this week in Rosemont for Team Jaquish. And a couple of pitchers off the board. Great personalities here in Athletes Unlimited with these players in softball. You see it all throughout not only the draft coverage special here on YouTube, but also on the field throughout the weekend. Some great personalities, a lot of excitement. And if you look at the pitchers in terms of ERA in week number 1, Sarah was one of the best. Did not give up an earned run on the mound in her 5 innings of work, along with 3 strikeouts. Kerry Eberly, team captain, wearing the gold this week. Ocasio, as mentioned, the defending champion, and Rachel Garcia already off the board, a member of Team Harshman, wearing the purple. There are the top 4 pitchers by ERA, the numbers after week number 1 in Athletes Unlimited. And so how this draft continues, you see right in the middle of your screen there, Morgan Zirkle. She was a captain last week, and you can imagine that Kerry Eberly, who's a captain for the 2nd straight week, the lone captain returning, in fact, she's relying on Morgan's experience to see which direction Gold wants to go, Team Eberly, in this draft room. So it's fascinating to see. This is the players, what they're looking at right now. Who's the best available by position? Again, if you're just joining us, captain's got to go with a team that includes 4 pitchers, 2 catchers, 3 middle infielders, 3 corner infielders, and 3 outfielders. So still a number of pitchers are on the board. Corner infielder-wise, same discussion, but then it becomes a little bit more trickier the latter rounds when you want to go in the direction of whether it be an outfielder, a catcher, or a middle infielder. And the draft continues. Carrie, who do you have here for round number 5?
Outfielder, Shannon Rhodes. I didn't have a choice.
Shannon Rhodes off the board for Team Eberly to round out round number 5. And look at the numbers put together. Almost 300 points in week 1 for Shannon Rhodes. Had some power at the plate, 444 batting average, had that monster home run. I mean, that was a moonshot over the weekend in Rosemont. And with her name being called, she goes into the Team Eberly draft room wearing the gold this week, along with the rest of her teammates and the facilitator. And she is in on the draft room, as we see there, along with some of her teammates and players. Hey fans, we've got a new season, new look, and you know, we also have new merch as well coming your way. Be sure to check out all of the brand new Athletes Unlimited items, including softball player names and number tees. You can go to shop.auprosports.com to purchase yours today. Round 6 goes to Kerry Eberly. Who do you got?
Pitcher, Mariah Mazon.
Mariah Mazon will be wearing gold this week for Team Eberly in this snake draft, as Team Eberly picking number 1 in round number 6. Mazon, who put some work together in the Zirkle, 6 1/3 innings, striking out 6, allowing just 3 walks and 6 hits in her first weekend appearance in Athletes Unlimited in week number 1. So outside of Eberly, the first pitcher taken by Team Eberly wearing the gold this week. 3 outfielders, 2 middle infielders, and 2 pitchers formulate Team Eberly in week number 2. And she joins in on the draft room for Team Eberly, wearing the gold this coming weekend in Rosemont, Illinois, where you can check out the games on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And as we move on, Savannah, ready to go in round 6.
Outfielder Jasmine Jackson.
Jasmine Jackson, outfielder, selected by Team Jaquish. So after Bubba Nichols was the first outfielder selected to wear orange this week, in round number 3, Jasmine Jackson, who wants to prove the doubters wrong going into week number 2, heading to Team Jaquish in the draft room with the rest of her fellow teammates, facilitator Charlotte Morgan helping the cause. And the facilitator is almost like the assistant GM, helps map out the vision of what the captain wants her team to be, making sure that all the requirements are fulfilled, that the picks are confirmed. There is a confirmation team as well that makes sure that that player in that position fits with that specific team. And we'll see going throughout the rest of the draft automatic drops where specific requirements are made to make sure that those captains have the specific amount of players needed by position. 4 pitchers, 2 catchers, 3 outfielders, 3 corner infielders, and middle infielders. So as we continue to move on in this draft, the list for all these positions continue to dwindle. Deja on the board, ready to make her pick.
Middle infielder, my sister and everyone's sister, Sis Bates.
The best introduction of a player in this draft here tonight by Team Molypola, as Sis Bates is going to be wearing blue this week. After Peyton St. George went in round number 5, Bates, middle infielder, put up nearly 1,500 leaderboard points, 9th in the league last season. The all-time hits leader at Washington, was part of the inaugural Geico the inaugural Geico AUX softball defensive MVP. Want to give her the proper credits there. She will bring her talents wearing the blue this week to Rosemont over the weekend. And so as we wait for the final pick by Team Harshman to round out the 6th round, here is who has been selected by Team Eberly, Team Jaquish, Team Molypola, and Team Harshman. A lot of great talent off the board, still a lot of great talent on the board for these teams and these respective captains to go with. Pitchers, outfielders, catchers, only 3 catchers still available for these team captains to select from. A number of corner infielders, including a former captain in Lily Piper. DJ Sanders, Sam Fisher also is available, whether it be in the corner infielder or in the middle infielder. You got Abby Ramirez, Jefferson still there, Clifton, Bayless as well, as the picks become a little bit more challenging the longer this draft goes and the deeper it goes in the latter rounds, round 9, 10, 11, for these captains to select their respective positions. Here's what week 2 looks like. Team Molypola and Team Jaquish will start things off on ESPNU, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Saturday games will be both on ESPN Plus and on ESPN2. And over the weekend on Sunday, you'll see those games on ESPN Plus. Chucky Kempf and Danielle Lowry will be the announcers this coming weekend for week 2 of season number 3 of Athletes Unlimited. So each captain gets 2 minutes per pick. Team Harshman using up nearly all 2 minutes to make the final selection of this round. This is the board that her facilitator, her teammates are all looking at right now on which direction they want to go with this upcoming selection. Kelsey Harshman, who had one of the best defensive plays we saw in week number 1, the highlights off the top of this show. And Kelsey is ready to go with her final pick in round 6.
Outfielder Aaliyah Andrews.
Aaliyah Andrews, better known as Air Aaliyah from LSU, is going to be wearing purple this weekend in Rosemont for Team Harshman. Her cause, the Ronald McDonald House Charities out of Tampa Bay. So Andrews, who finished last year with just over 1,500 leaderboard points, a threat on the base path, and she is in on the draft room for Team Harshman, who is all smiles. And Kelsey's not going to have a lot of time to celebrate because she, because of this snake draft, will select number 1 to begin round number 7. Here are the rosters for the respective 4 team captains. And as we wait for Team Harshman to start round number 7 in this snake draft, rounding out the 6 rounds, here they are so far among the 4 team captains for week 2 in the draft special. 2 middle infielders, 2 outfielders, and 2 pitchers. That is where Team Harshman has gone, and a catcher as well. That is the direction thus far through the first 6 rounds. And again, it has been tight, even after just week number 1 of the season, between gold all the way through blue. 20 points separate Carrie Eberle, Savannah Jaquish, and Deja Molypola. And as we look into the draft room for Team Harshman, Kelsey is ready to go in round number 7.
All right. We are going to take corner infielder Tori Vidalis.
Tori Vidalis,
Oh, we got
a captain last year, and Team Harshman selecting her in round number 7. So again, as we've seen with other former captains who join their respective draft rooms, their leadership, their veteran experience from being in that exact same chair that Kelsey Harshman right now is in is beneficial and valuable the rest of the way. And Tori will be wearing purple this weekend for Team Harshman, excited to go and ready to perform and get a couple of wins under her belt in that draft room for Team Harshman. 60 of the greatest softball players in the world playing in Athletes Unlimited, season number 3, week 2 draft special here on YouTube. And those draft rooms, after a player is selected, they go into their respective team war rooms with the facilitator and the captain and the other teammates that have been selected. And it's a great insight to see which direction they want to go. You see all the players making their opinions be known. And as we continue, Deja, ready to go with her selection in round 7.
Corner infielder, Sam Fisher.
Team Molypola going with another infielder after Sis Bates was taken in round number 6. Sam Fisher out of Loyola Marymount, a corner infielder with her cause being 100 Club of Arizona, wearing blue this week, and with her name being called, she immediately goes into the draft room for Team Molypola, hoping to make an impact this week in week number 2. So this is where it becomes a little bit more challenging for these captains, making sure that they fulfill the necessary requirements for Athletes Unlimited. Again, a team that has to have 4 pitchers, 2 catchers, 3 middle infielders, 3 corner infielders, and 3 outfielders. Now, they can play those players in any position that they want once they have them, but then they must draft in those categories. So, for example, Danielle Watson, pitcher, is going to be a pitcher based on the position that she came into. Savannah is ready to go. Who do you got?
Middle infielder, Janae Jefferson.
Janae Jefferson, middle infielder, is off the board, and she is going to be wearing orange this coming weekend in Rosemont for Team Jaquish. Looking to bounce back after struggling in week number 1 with just 130 points and a 143 batting average. So there she is, joining in on Team Jaquish in the draft room. Excited to be wearing the orange as well. So for every run scored, by the way, during this year's Athletes Unlimited softball season, Aspiration is planting 10 trees. So heading into this week, 440 trees have been committed this season thanks to Aspiration's support. Round number 7 about to conclude with Team Eberly. Wearing gold this week, Kerry Eberly, the reigning Rookie of the Year. She was the lone returning captain after wearing blue in week number 1, but has been a force to be reckoned with in the pitching circle, no doubt, in her tenure at Athletes Unlimited. So as we continue through this draft, here's how the rosters have been made up. As Team Eberly about to make their selection coming up. Aaliyah Andrews was the last pick that was selected by Team Molypola. So we've seen Team Harshman start off round number 7 with Tori Vidalis, the former captain. Janae Jefferson with Team Jaquish. And Carrie, ready to go. Who's your selection?
Corner infielder, Sydney Sherrill.
Corner infielder Sydney Sherrill is going to be a part of Team Eberly this coming weekend in week number 2 out of Florida State, with her cause being Women's Sports Foundation. Team Eberly rounding out round number 7, and the draft room continues to get crowded. Team Eberly, another player selected, moving into the draft room, and that screen is going to get filled up more and more with players getting selected by these respective captains. And a reminder as well, the Unlimited Club provides great benefits, including voting on league decisions, interaction with players, signed items, and more. For more information or to join today, go to auprosports.com. Again, a great club to be a part of, with the type of meet and greets that you get to have with all the specific players. As we sneak in on the draft room for Team Eberly in the snake draft, as Team Eberly finished up round number 7, they will begin round number 8 with the first pick. And you see the facilitator along with the other players, and you've noticed as well, Morgan Zirkle has been a real good force in that draft room, helping out strategizing with Team Eberly, who is looking at this board right now. Pitchers, outfielders, catchers, corner infielders, and middle infielders. And thus far, Team Eberly has selected 3 outfielders, so that fulfills that requirement. You've also have to draft 3 middle infielders, 3 corner infielders, 2 catchers, and 4 pitchers. No catcher has been taken by Team Eberly, and there's only 3 left on the board. Mia Davidson, who has been a star in her time at Mississippi State. One of those selections, in terms of Davidson, had 4 home runs in the first scrimmage of the year, made a lot of headway, was one of the 13 players selected in Athletes Unlimited Softball College Draft. So she's still on the board. And as we are ready to go, round number 8, Team Eberly, who is your selection?
Pitcher, Alyssa Denham.
Alyssa Denham, a fellow pitcher, Kerry Eberly, who is a pitcher herself, the 3rd pitcher that will be joining up for Team Eberly. There are the numbers for Denham, a ERA just under 4 and just over 5 innings of work, allowing 3 hits while striking out 4 and walking 3. And there she is joining in on her new team this week, Team Eberly. That draft room continues to get crowded as the players hear their names selected. And as we continue, Savannah, ready to go with your pick.
Pitcher Haley Wagner.
Haley Wagner, another pitcher off the board. So we've seen a trend here in round number 8. Back-to-back pitchers selected by Team Eberly and now Team Jaquish. There are the numbers for Haley Wagner. Over 260 points for her. ERA not where she wants it to be in 6 innings of work, but 4 strikeouts to just 1 walk over the weekend in Rosemont for week number 1. So 3 pitchers off the board for Team Jaquish, 1 more to go. As we take a look inside the draft room, and all smiles, all high fives, all waves for Team Jaquish as their team continues to build through the latter parts of this draft. 14 rounds in total after the captains select themselves as their first pick. Deja ready to go with her selection in round 8.
Pitcher, Odyssey Alexander.
3 picks in round number 8, 3 pitchers. Odyssey Alexander, the latest pitcher off the board. Alexander with a 6 ERA and 4 2/3. Molypola going with another pitcher that'll be her third. She herself being a catcher, already taking a catcher. Erica coming off the board in round number 4. And that Zoom room gets to be crowded more and more as we take a sneak peek inside. And it's interesting to see how the players communicate with one another. And you see Team Chidester, or I should say Amanda Chidester, who was the captain of Team Chidester last week to begin season number 3 of Athletes Unlimited. She, great personality, making her thoughts be known in the draft room for this week. And it's an interesting way that these players communicate with one another, whether it be through text or DMs on the Slack channel, communicating with their captain and facilitator to make sure they've gotten, obviously, the requirements fulfilled, but who is the best player, who's the best personality, who can be the best fit for their team in respective weeks. So, as we continue through this Week 2 draft special, the lists under each specific category starts to dwindle. We only have 5 pitchers left on the board, 3 catchers, 4 infielders. Still a handful of corner infielders left to be had. And just 5 middle infielders are left on the board for these captains to look at and to try to draft in the latter parts of these rounds, where automatic drops also become a part of it as well. Team Harshman, ready to go. Kelsey, who you got?
Okay. Pitcher, Shannon Sale.
All right, 4 for 4 in pitchers taken in round number 8. So after going outfielder and corner infielder in round 6 and 7, Shannon Sale, 228 points for her, is off the board wearing purple this weekend for Team Harshman. Just 2/3 of an inning in an appearance for her, allowing just 2 hits. Her name being called, the wave there, the draft room getting a little bit bigger for Team Harshman, who in this snake draft will start off the next round picking first. So Sale, the last pick in the previous round that we just saw in round number 8. And Team Harshman has 2 minutes to make her selection to begin round number 9. Kelsey Harshman, one of 3 new faces this week in the captain's chair. Kerry Eberly, the only lone returning captain from last week. And Shannon joining in with her dog there. Love to see, again, the personalities and just the overall placement of the Zoom calls as well. You never know what you're going to expect. But here we go. Pitchers, outfielders, catchers, corner infielders, and middle infielders. These are who are still available on the board. The best available of 60 athletes, Season 3, Week 2 draft special. And you see, notice again, the small P next to Lorenz and Stokes O'Connor. That is, again, out-of-market players who will miss a game or some practice and not are going to be available the entire weekend. So Team Harshman trying to work out the details and the strategy to figure out what direction they want to go. Ellie Cooper right next to Kelsey in the upper left-hand portion of your screen, the facilitator this week for purple. And the roster, as we just saw in round number 8, a clean sweep of pitchers, starting with Denham, Wagner, Alexander, and Sale. And Team Harshman ready to go in round 9.
I don't like that I can't hear anything. Okay. Corner infielder, Haley Busby.
Haley Busby is going to be wearing purple this weekend for Team Harshman, selected as the first pick in round number 9. 500 batting average with the 1 RBI, driven in with 260 points, which is 20th in the league. It has been an interesting first week of Athletes Unlimited softball in year number 3. That's because the top 3 spots are separated by just 20 points. So again, the scoring system works in a variety of ways. You can win points. Those are all about team performance. And then you've got the players themselves accumulating points individually throughout their stats and MVP votes. So the draft room, a sneak peek inside with Team Harshman. And 9th round continues. Deja, who you taking here?
Middle infielder, Aubrey Leach.
Team Molypola going middle infielder with their selection for round number 9. Wearing the blue this weekend, Aubrey Leach, just 150 points, top 50 in the league, looking to build upon a better performance coming up in week number 2. So another middle infielder is off the board, and it continues to grow in draft room. Team Molypola continues to build up that draft, and you get to see and meet in this meet and greet if you're a part of the Unlimited Club. Deja Molypola, 6 p.m. Eastern, right after the draft, 5 p.m. Central. You can upgrade or join as an MVP or as a captain to join right now. So that is what's going to come up after this draft here on YouTube if you are a member of the Unlimited Club. Round 9 continues. Savannah, it's your choice.
Middle infielder, Andrea Filler.
Andrea Filler, taken in round number 9 by Team Jaquish. So after going outfielder, middle infielder, and pitcher, a corner infielder has been taken to wear the orange this coming weekend. See the numbers there by Andrea Filler. Looking to have a bounce-back performance in week number 2 of this 3rd season of Athletes Unlimited Softball. And Team Jaquish, their draft room continues to be built up with the latest name selected in, Charlotte Morgan. There with her daughter, checking in on the rest of the draft, helping facilitate, in terms of like an assistant GM, what direction Savannah wants to go with her team. And as we wait for Team Eberly to make their selection to wrap up round number 9, this is the board that Kerry and the rest of the captains are looking at, which directions they want to go in terms of pitchers and outfielders, just 4 apiece, 3 catchers, still a number of corner infielders left on the board for these captains to select, and 3 middle infielders. You've got Riley, Kaylee, and Abby left to be had for these captains. Kerry Eberly, the reigning Rookie of the Year, the lone returning captain from last weekend, has had some impressive performances throughout her short career thus far in Athletes Unlimited. And we take a look inside Morgan Zirkle, the highlighted box surrounded there in the Zoom chat room for this draft for Team Eberly, a former captain in week 1. Here's what Team Eberly went with in terms of their selections: Ortez, Romero, Zirkle, Hayward, Rhodes, Maison, Cheryl, and Denham. So 3 pitchers off the board for Team Eberly, still looking to select a catcher. But thus far, Team Eberly looking to perform as well as they did in week number 1. And Kerry, ready to go, wrapping up round number 9.
Corner infielder, Lily Piper.
From a captain to a former captain, Leah Piper, who's got some power at the plate. She will bring that to gold. Lily Piper, excuse me. She will bring some power to the plate in round number 9 for Team Eberly. Looking to bounce back after a sluggish performance in week 1. And just like that, Kerry ready to go to start round 10.
Catcher, Sasha Palacios.
Sasha Palacios is off the board. So the first catcher here for Team Eberly, coming all the way into round number 10. She still has another catcher that she has to select to fulfill that requirement, but Palacios, with her standout career at Arizona State and her cause being Morgan's message, great to hear her name coming off the board for Team Eberly in this snake draft. And as we await to see where Team Jaquish wants to go in round number 10. And she is ready to go. Savannah, who do you got?
Outfielder, Amanda Lorenz.
Okay, so Amanda Lorenz, who will be back Sunday with the team, selected by Team Jaquish in round number 10. And again, you'll notice that P next to her name signifies the out-of-market players this week who's going to miss a game or some practice, may not be available the entire weekend for their specific team, as Amanda Lorenz falls into that category. Here's her name and joins in on the draft room for Team Jaquish. And Deja continuing round number 10 with her pick.
Outfielder, Kiki Stokes O'Connor.
And just like we saw with Amanda Lorenz, Kiki Stokes O'Connor, who will be inactive on Friday, will be back for weekend play, selected by Team Molypola. Wearing the blue this weekend out of Nebraska, with her cause being win for KC. And again, all these players have a specific cause or charity that they play for. Half of their leaderboard bonus will be donated to that specific cause or charity. One of the great things about Athletes Unlimited in the variety of sports presented by the league. And the excitement grows wearing blue this weekend. Kiki Stokes O'Connor coming into the draft room for Team Molypola, who has done a great job so far in their draft selections 1 through 10. And Kelsey, finishing off round 10, who are we selecting?
We are going with middle infielder Kaylee Clifton.
Middle infielder Kaylee Clifton is officially off the board. Kaylee Clifton, off the board in round number 10. So with that, her cause being Alzheimer's Association, standout in her time at Oklahoma. Double wave coming into the mix, joining in with the rest of her teammates as that draft room for Team Harshman continues to grow. And Kelsey's not going to have much time to enjoy the pick that she just had, because she's going to start off in this snake draft with the first selection of this upcoming round. So the question is, what direction does Kelsey Harshman go in week 11, or I should say in round 11? Pitchers, outfielders, catchers, corner infielders, and middle infielders still on the board. A number of talented players in their respective categories. You'd have to think that Team Eberly coming up in this round is going to have to go for a catcher, perhaps going back-to-back catchers in their selections in round 10 and 11. 4 pitchers still remain on the board, just a couple of outfielders, including Rachel Lewis, 6 corner infielders, and Riley Bayless and Abby Ramirez, the lone mid-infielders, left to be drafted in week number 2 of this 3rd season of Athletes Unlimited. Taking a sneak peek inside the draft room for Team Harshman as we get set to go with round number 11. And Kelsey, ready to go. Thumbs up. Who do you got to start round 11?
Pitcher Danielle Watson.
Round 11 starts with a pitcher for Team Harshman. Danielle Watson. See the numbers that she put up in week number 1, a 3.82 ERA, 3 2/3 innings, striking out 2 while allowing 5 hits. And with her name being heard, she immediately goes into the draft room for Team Harshman, joining up with her captain, facilitator, and the rest of the team selected throughout the round so far for Team Harshman. And fans, while we have a chance, always remind you, stay connected with us at AU Pro Sports. You can follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and here on YouTube. Each and every week throughout the season, we will have draft coverage starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Central, leading into the games coming up on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, the games will be seen on ESPNU. Saturday's games on ESPN Plus and on E2. ESPN Plus will wrap things up from Rosemont, Illinois, coming up on Sunday. As we continue to wait on where Team Molypola is going to go in this round 11, we're going to see them start things off coming up on Friday versus Team Jaquish. That'll be an interesting matchup between 2 of the top players. Again, 1 through 3, the top 3 point getters thus far, separated by just 20 points after week number 1. So that list for the pitchers has shortened by 1. Only 3 left to be had. And as we get through the rest of these rounds, the automatic drops, they are going to be an issue for captains to have to address. Team Molypola, inside look at their draft room. A number of stars that have already been selected of these 60 world-class athletes in Athletes Unlimited. And as she continues to work through this 2 minutes, here's where Deja has gone. Went pitcher with her first pick of the night with Danielle O'Toole. We've seen others, including Peyton St. George, Sis Bates, Sam Fisher, I should say. And just her latest pick being Kiki Stokes O'Connor. Four captains, only returning captain of the week, Team Eberly, who's going to be selecting last here in round number 11. Team Molypola using pretty much all 2 minutes, and I see the thumbs up and ready to go. Deja, who's your pick?
Pitcher, Sydney Littlejohn Watkins.
Best name on the draft board taken off in round 11 after Kiki Stokes O'Connor. The outfielder taken in round 10, Sydney Littlejohn Watkins. A 3.82 ERA and 3 2/3 in the Zirkle. And Savannah ready to go in round 11. Who's your pick?
Corner infielder Danielle Gibson.
Corner infielder Danielle Gibson, selected in round number 11 by Team Jaquish. She'll be wearing orange this coming weekend for Team Jaquish in Rosemont. And so Danielle Gibson off the board out of Arkansas, a native of California. A couple of waves by her captain as Danielle joining in on the draft room call with Team Jaquish, joining the rest of her teammates, facilitator and team captain there in Savannah Jaquish. So Kerry Eberly, the lone returning captain from last week, representing Gold, and Kerry is ready to go in round 11.
Catcher, Mia Davidson.
Mia Davidson, the second catcher taken by Team Eberly, fulfills that requirement. Mentioned the notes on her earlier. One of 13 athletes selected in the Athletes Unlimited College Draft. Here in year number 3 of the softball season, almost 300 points in her rookie debut last week. Did make some noise in that first scrimmage of the year, that 2 scrimmages she had, a couple of them in fact, where she had 4 home runs total in those games. Her power certainly behind the plate, off the board. So as we go and look through the rosters here, 11 rounds are done, out of the way, and this is how the rosters look out. 3 more rounds to go. Team Eberly with this snake draft is going to start off round number 12 after picking Davidson to conclude the 11th round. Back-to-back catchers is what Team Eberly decided to go with in rounds 10 and 11. Which way will Kerry go in round number 12? And she is ready to go. Kerry, who's your pick?
Corner infielder, Allison Febri.
Corner infielder Allison Febri coming off the board to begin round number 12. Will be wearing gold this weekend for Team Eberly. So a couple of catchers, 3 pitchers, and now another corner infielder, the third and final selection that Team Eberly needs to make to fulfill that requirement. And with that, Team Eberly's draft room grows by 1 more after the latest player selected who will be wearing gold this weekend in Rosemont, Illinois for Team Eberly, who would love to be a captain for a 3rd straight week. Savannah, ready to go with her selection.
Corner infielder, my girl, DJ Sanders.
All right, DJ Sanders, one of the captain's favorites, off the board. Sanders going to be wearing orange this weekend for Team Jaquish. After going middle infielder, outfielder, and corner infielder, Sanders, the latest corner infielder off the board after a standout career at Oregon. Her cause being the Boys and Girls Club of the Golden Triangle. And double waves all the way around here for DJ, who enters the draft room for Team Jaquish. That draft room that consists of the captain, the facilitator, and the rest of the teammates that have been selected. Deja, ready to go for her round 12 selection.
Corner infielder, Nadia Taylor.
Nadia Taylor, here's her name called in round number 12. donning the blue uniform this coming weekend for Team Molypola. Taylor out of Texas and proving why over the weekend that she belongs in the hot corner. Watch this defensive effort. Beautiful play to make the snag and robbing a base hit for Orange. That's the type of defensive effort that Team Molypola wants to see this coming weekend once again in Rosemont. So a great defensive gem by a star defensive player. Kelsey is ready to go to round out round number 12.
She wore purple in college, so why not wear purple now? Let's go outfielder Rachel Lewis.
Look at that. Might be one of the best selection introductions we've seen tonight. Team Harshman giving one of their teammates a chance to wear purple again. Rachel Lewis, with her cause being Play Like a Girl out of Northwestern, Wildcats all the way around. And here we go, Team Harshman growing up again in terms of the draft room. The number continues to increase, and because of this snake draft, Team Harshman's going to waste no time in trying to make another selection, and she is ready to go.
Well, how do I make, okay. Oh, me, Kelsey? Kelsey, go? All right, we're sticking with the purple trend and going corner infielder Courtney Gaino.
Courtney Gaino. I got to say, Kelsey, in the first week I've seen her as captain, entertaining with her her selections in this week's draft out of Washington. Courtney Gaino with her cause being Women's Sports Foundation. So after a pitcher in round 11 with Danielle Watson, Rachel Lewis, outfielder, and now Courtney Gaino, another corner infielder off the board, the third and final one needed for Team Harshman with their requirement fulfilled in that category. All captains must end up with a team that includes 4 pitchers, 2 catchers, 3 outfielders, 3 middle infielders, and 3 corner infielders. Deja, ready to go with her pick.
We're going to copy KJ. She wore blue in college, so we're going to keep her in blue this week. Middle infielder, Abby Ramirez.
Abby Ramirez keeping the blue theme going. I love it. Maize and blue, though. Not powder blue, maize and blue, but still just a lighter shade of that blue. Team Molypola going with Ramirez, middle infielder out of Chicago, Illinois. Having played her college ball at Michigan, selected in this 13th round, wearing blue this coming weekend in Rosemont, Illinois. And Savannah, who has the next pick for Team Jaquish, is ready to go in round 13.
Pitcher Maggie Ballant.
So another pitcher is off the board. Ballon coming off the board for Team Jaquish after DJ Sanders and Danielle Gibson were the prior 2 selections out of San Diego State, her cause being the Boys and Girls Club of the Golden Triangle. Double waves all the way around for Team Jaquish in the draft room as they have one more pick to make. The automatic drop starts to become a factor here now as players automatically put in because of that requirement needed for the specific position for the captain to have in the certain requirement for each position to round out their roster of 15. Kerry Eberly, ready to make the last pick in round 13.
Middle infielder, Riley Bayless.
Middle infielder Riley Bayless, the final selection in round number 13 in the snake draft for Team Eberly, who has made their automatic drop be known as well. We'll get to that in just a second. Riley Bayless, Oklahoma State. She'll be joining Team Eberly this weekend. Greta Giddy, who is a veteran to the sport. She, who had a rough outing in week number 1, looking to turn things around. She is part of the automatic drop. So Kerry Eberly needed a pitcher to go in her final selection to fulfill that requirement, does so. And there is a look at Team Eberly, that draft room, that along with their facilitator and captain, that is what comprises Team Eberly. And then Allie Harrell will be the automatic drop for Team Jaquish to fulfill that requirement. Nicole Rangel-Mendez right now to the outfielder who will be going to Team Molypola. And this is one of the highlights that she had last night, going opposite way, but denied. It's going full stretch there on the beautiful putout. Talk about a defensive gem there. And the last pick for Team Harshman, the automatic drop with Jordan Roberts. So there you go. There are the 4 teams comprised of 15 players each. Let's take a look at the schedule coming up for week number 2 in season 3 of Athletes Unlimited. Starts off Friday on ESPNU. Saturday's games from Rosemont on ESPN Plus and on ESPN2, with Sunday's games available for fans to see on ESPN Plus. Here's a look at the final rosters for Team Eberle, Team Jaquish, Team Molypola, and Team Harshman. There we go, 15 players per each team. And let's take a look one final time through the draft rooms. Purple with Team Harshman, all smiles, all waves. Team Molypola right there as well. Will be wearing blue this coming weekend in Rosemont, Illinois. Double wave there by the team captain. And the rest of the team, Team Jaquish, hoping to have some success that she saw a year ago as a captain, back in the chair this week, representing the orange. And Team Eberle wearing the gold this week. The top performer there being Kerry Eberly, the reigning Rookie of the Year. So there we have it. Week number 2 draft special is in the books. 60 players have been taken. We will see the action coming up on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from Rosemont, Illinois. For our entire hardworking production crew, I'm John Brickley. Enjoy the night, and we'll see you at the ballpark in Rosemont coming up on Friday.